Hey, AgEcon, welcome to our next section of the class focusing on production possibilities frontiers, otherwise known as PPFs. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about these. It's a really good segue into Unit 2, which is going to be coming up here in a couple of lessons. But you'll find that this lesson kind of combines the ideas of productivity, opportunity cost, and scarcity, which are the key topics we've discussed prior to this. So let's get started. Our learning targets for today are: I can construct a PPF to demonstrate opportunity costs for two different outputs. I can interpret a PPF to make educated production decisions. And finally, I can describe the effect of external factors on a PPF. So a production possibilities frontier, or a PPF, is essentially when we have two different outputs, and a PPF is what depicts the unique combination of outputs that can be produced when we allocate our resources. So why do we use PPFs? Well, first, it helps us think on the margin. So it helps us think, if we produce 10 units of this, how many units of this other good can we produce? It helps us calculate opportunity costs and the trade-offs of producing different combinations of outputs. And it also helps us establish goals for the future. So those are the three key reasons why we utilize PPFs. Sometimes you'll hear me refer to PPF as a production possibilities curve, or PPC. I kind of use those terms interchangeably, so my apologies if I do that in this presentation, but I'll do my best to try to stick to PPF. So over to the graph to the right, we see that this is a PPF diagram that compares the production of food and clothes for an economy. So we'll see that at point B, we're producing 100 units of food and 0 units of clothes. Whereas at point C, we are giving up 25 units of food to produce 100 units of clothes, and so on and so forth. Okay, just to review, since I know some of us are at different levels of math in this class, what are the key elements of a graph? Well, first, we have to have a title. The title always tells us what's being shown on the graph. So a nice little format that I like to use is x-axis versus y-axis, especially for econ class. We're not really going to be using any graphs that show change over time or anything. It's just going to be plotting two different things at a specific moment in time. So clothes versus food production works for the graph to the right. Then we also want to label our axes and our units. So this tells us what's being compared. The x-axis is always going to be horizontal, or going across, and the y-axis is going to be vertical and going up and down. So over on the graph to the right, we see that food is our y-axis and clothes is our x-axis. So what I want you to do now before tuning into the next video is create an allocation table that shows the combination of quantities produced for food and clothes. And then I want you to also determine the opportunity cost of moving from point C to point D. I know that I haven't really taught you how to do this yet, but I briefly discussed how it works and giving up the idea of going from point B to point C a little while ago. So if you need to rewatch this video, you most certainly can, but I want you to create an allocation table that shows the combination of quantities. So again, what is being produced at point B? What is being produced at point C? What is being produced at point E? And so on and so forth. Okay, so do your best, and then we'll go over the answers in the next video.